But what needs to happen is that one main priority needs to come above everything else. One thing that I'm realizing a bit by bit is the fact that you can be good at a lot of things, but you can only be great at one or maybe two things. Now myself, I have an issue, right? Where everything that I try, everything that I seem to enjoy, I want to get great at. I want to be one of the best at. Now, what I've been noticing lately is the fact that every time I do this, every time I decide that, okay, there's something new that comes, it takes my focus away from the main goal that I've always had in my life. Now, as I've been spending more time with myself, I'm realizing that every single time that something new comes in my life that I enjoy, it diverts my focus from my main goal. Now, you might say that, oh, you could do both things, right? You could achieve both goals, but can you be great at both of them? For example, I'm gonna bring up two hypothetical goals, okay? Two things I've always wanted to do was become great at fighting and then become great at football. Now, in the case that I'm working on both goals, right? I'm working on achieving both of these things. What's gonna happen is everyone's got the exact same amount of time in their lives, right? Everyone's got the same 24 hours. Let's say 8 hours goes to sleeping, right? The remaining 16 hours, right? I'm myself, okay? If we look at two characters, myself and someone that is focused on simply one thing, on achieving one goal, myself, I have to split those 16 hours between whatever miscellaneous things that I have to do in my life. But on top of that, I have to do half of it for soccer, half of it for fighting, right? Whereas there's someone out there that is putting their entire 16 hours minus whatever things they need, but that entire 16 hours into one thing, right? So if we look at it over the course of a year, he's going to be doing double what I'm doing at one specific thing. Makes sense, right? So in that case, who's gonna get better at what? Yeah, I'm gonna get equivalently better at both things, right? But the max level of success that I will reach at both of those things will be significantly lower than what he will reach with that one thing. And every year on top of that, it'll just compound and compound and compound to the point where that person will become great, and then myself will still be, I'll be good. Not to say I won't be good, right? Because I'll be practicing, I'll be working at it, but I won't be great. This video is as much for me as it is for you guys, right? I've been thinking about this recently and it's been in my head and I'm like, why have I not made much progress in these last couple of years, right? I've been working at this specific goal. It's been in my head for quite a while, right? One of my goals is to achieve financial freedom and I've been thinking about it. I'm like, why have I not made much progress in this? Now, when I look back, and I had to spend some time with myself, right? I had to spend some time meditating, thinking about it. But when I look back, here's what it has come to. So I've had, okay, financial freedom was my number one priority, my main goal. But every time something would happen, okay, footy, right? Like I'd start enjoying soccer a little bit more. And so I'd start putting time into practicing that because I wanted to get better at that. And then, okay, I wanted to be a sick volleyball player. And then now I've been practicing on that. I've wanted to get better at fighting, learn a bit more self-defense. I've been practicing at that. And on top of that, I've been wanting to build a good body, right? So I've got 5 things that are diverting my attention from each other. So would it be possible? Yes, I could be decent at all 5 of these things. Probably not all 5, but I could be decent at least 3, maybe 4 of these things. But I will never get great at any of these. Great enough to actually make a lasting impact or to actually make an impact on this world with what I can provide. So no matter how intense I go at this, all 5 of these things, right? Someone that is focusing on simply one will always beat me, right? Just because of the sheer fact of the volume that they are putting in, the volume of training that they are putting in towards the one specific thing. Now, here's the other thing, right? The other thing is the fact that we become unhappy because of this, right? Because you have all 5 of these things that you're trying to focus towards building, trying to focus towards getting better at. And then you look back and you're like, why am I not at the same level as this person, right? Why am I not as good in this thing? Why am I not one of the best, right? And you look back at it and you start beating yourself up over it. Because the fact that if you look at it over years, right? Yeah, you've been working on 5 different things, but you've been putting in the time towards these things for years, right? So why are you not great at it? As humans, they say that it's okay to have one desire, but it's not okay to have multiple. You should be okay with being whatever with the other desires, but that one desire should be your main one, the one that you should focus on, and it's okay to beat yourself up over that. But what needs to happen is that one main priority needs to come above everything else. If that is so important to you that you want to do something with it, it needs to come over everything else. That means, okay, for example, in my case, financial freedom, right? It needs to come over playing soccer, being a sick footy player. It needs to come over being a good volleyball player. It needs to come over fighting. It needs to even come over body, right? Over building like an aesthetic, healthy, balanced body. It needs to come over that as well. So you need to set your priorities and you need to decide which is the thing that you're willing to give everything up for. It needs to come over your social life. It needs to come over your rest. Like, it needs to come over everything, right? This is the main priority and this is the main thing that you're going to focus on. Now, it's okay. It's okay to have these priorities change, right? For example, if it's not financial freedom anymore or you're getting closer to it, it's okay to convert it to, okay, for example, I'm going to convert it to building a better body, or I'm going to convert it to becoming one of the greatest fighters, right? It's okay to convert this, but it's important that you have a plan and you write it down and you stick to it for at least a couple of years, right? One of my biggest issues that I've been noticing in my life is the fact that, so I've got this plan, right? I've got these priorities that I have, and I start going at it, right? And I hammer away and I go with crazy intensity. But then when I start seeing things not working, I move on to the next thing that comes in my life that I start to get good at, right? So I start to see some progress with something else. For example, I started playing volleyball a year and a half ago, right? I started getting better at volleyball, and then eventually I was like, okay, I'm seeing progress in this. Let's actually start putting some work in towards this. And I started training that more. And that took away from my goals of achieving financial freedom, right? Because I wasn't putting the full brain effort, the full focus towards it. So here's what you need to do. Okay, take all of your priorities. I have 5, you might have 10, you might have 20, you might have even 50, right? List them in terms of priority. You need to figure out what the top 5 are. And then from that top 5, figure out your number 1 priority. And now from this top 5, you already have your number 1. So from numbers 2 to 5, figure out which one will complement your number 1 priority. Right? For example, in my case, financial freedom. Okay, that means I need to educate myself. I need to work hard. I need to focus on one thing. And I need to keep figuring out ways. I need to build a business, or I need to figure out ways to actually start making more passive income, right? Start making some more money. Now, one thing that complements this is the gym, is building a good body, building a healthy body, because it will keep my brain fresh, right? Which will in turn help me focus better, right? Provide me with better energy levels so that I can grind harder, right? So in this case, these 2 priorities sort of complement each other, right? Therefore, I can focus towards doing both. Now, this is literally for people like me, okay? If you're someone like me, then I suggest please go ahead and do this. This is for the people that are competitive, right? Anything that you seem to start to enjoy, you want to get better than someone else at, right? You want to have that competitive edge on. Now, the key word is you want to be amazing at everything that you try. However, it's not possible. Your number 1 priority should be something that you absolutely need. It's not a want. Yeah, it might have started off as a want, but it's something that you cannot live without. It's something that would depress you if you never achieved it. It's something that you would die with regrets if you never achieved it. That's what your number 1 thing needs to be, right? That's the way that you could figure out what that number 1 priority is. Now, this number 1 thing, this number 1 goal will be your priority for the near future. You need to stick to it for at least a year, if not longer, for at least a year and be consistent with it, right? You need to be consistent with it in order for you to actually see some type of progress. So try this, see where it takes you. You need to focus on one thing. You don't want to be a jack of all trades. You want to be a master of one thing, right? If you look at any sport, anything in this world, the people that are insanely successful are people that have focused and honed in on one specific thing and have become great at it, enough that they could actually make an impact on this world. Those are the types of people that actually you hear about. Those are the types of people that are successful. Those are the types of people that change the world. You want to be someone like that, and not someone that is good or decent at everything, but not great at one single thing. Try this, see where it leads you to, and I guarantee you it will actually change something. It will change something in your life, and you will see. If you stick to it consistently, you will see progress. You only have one life, but if you put in the work, that one life is more than enough.